Hey everybody, hope you're all doing well. We're going to be talking about a lot of controversial topics in today's episode of CSGO News. As always, I hope you guys all enjoy. Let's get right into it. And first off today, huge CSGO news as well as controversial news for all of you gamblers out there. It seems like gambling has made a partial return to the scene. Now, I know a lot of you guys know about smaller websites out there that I won't even mention. It's really not worth mentioning that already operate as of right now with a few hundred users at most. That being some other websites out there that use bit skins to operate around Valve's lawsuit and around Valve's enforcement as well. But in big news yesterday was CSGOWild's announcement on Twitter of their soon-coming return, which, as revealed by Richard Lewis, will seemingly be no longer accepting CSGO skins as a means of currency. And I want to be the first one to say, or maybe one of the first ones to say, that why would we even bother using CSGOWild if we can no longer use CSGO skins? I mean, it really has no relevance to the scene anymore, and I hope you guys take into fact that, okay, it's become not any longer a CSGO gambling website. It is now one step worse from these owners that have, been pretty scummy to the community in the past. It is now one step further, and it's now pretty much just an official gambling website. The only thing it has to do with CSGO relation is the fact that the coin flip has CT or T sided. That's the only relation now that CSGOWild has, and it's become pretty much an official website for gambling in general. No longer CSGO gambling skins. You cannot use Steam. You can only use credit cards, Skrilla, and other terms of payment as well. Not even PayPal is an option, and definitely not Steam. So you can't use your CSGO skins on Wild anymore. And there's now also a potential story out there about CSGOWild owners. Apparently there's been a transfer of ownership. Now we had Richard Lewis say one thing. We also had Honor the Call say another thing. As of right now, it's been not confirmed of the change of owners as of right now, but there's obviously been some change in the organization to actually get around these Valve enforcement laws and to actually operate around those. Apparently they will be coming back soon. We don't know whether that'll be a matter of days or a matter of just a few weeks, but as of right now, CSGOWild is coming back, but they're really no longer CSGO related. But in other big CSGO gambling news as well, we have CSGOBig, who went active just around 12 hours ago, which is also one of the top gambling sites out there just a few months ago before everything closed down, and now they've also reopened. Even more surprising was the fact that they can still use Steam. I don't know how they are actually doing this, guys. I have reached out to them, but as of right now on CSGOBig, if you guys use their website, you can both withdraw and deposit using Steam on their website, which is a really big surprise here because obviously the main reason why they shut down just a month ago was because they could no longer use Steam bots and they were going to revamp their system. They come back now, and the only big change that I've seen so far on their website is the fact that you can only withdraw once every 3 hours, which for a gambler is really no big deal. A lot of gamblers are just going to be depositing skins and probably not pulling too many back out. So that's the only change I've seen so far, and really there's no issues on this website. It's kind of surprising. I have reached out to them, like I said before, and their officials to try and figure out how they've actually come back to the gambling scene, but CSGOBig is also making a comeback, and as of right now have made no changes. I'm interested and actually curious to see how they're operating around Valve's system while still using Steam bots. And of course this is happening to me, guys, in very big CSGO news yesterday. This is going to be a long segment, so please look down below, guys, for time markers if you don't want to watch this segment. Please, I always have time markers down below in the description so you guys can bounce around. In very big CSGO news yesterday was, of course, Renegades versus SK Gaming in the ESL Pro League, and this is big CSGO news because as of yesterday, we had big things to talk about. I talked about Renegades and their struggling roster, and of course, the day that I mentioned Renegades and their team struggling and their organization being split off, and how I had really no big prediction for them in the future because I didn't see them going anywhere. Of course, the same day I say that, and it really, I hold to my word, guys. I hold to what I said because if you guys look back a month ago, they lost Spuns, their leader. They also were considering a team disband, also a team movement. They were considering all these things and really going nowhere, as well as until last night in the ESL Pro League North American standings, they were 1-6 and almost in last place. And of course, like I said before, the day that I said all of these facts to all of you guys, to which a lot of you guys agreed that video did not get too bad of feedback, Renegades follows Liquid in making history, and not only did they beat SK yesterday, they also beat them on back-to-back maps, and on top of this, just my luck, they managed to 16-0 SK Gaming, the #1 team in the world, on their first map of that two-map series on Dust 2, which is really not SK's favorite map, but still, we all know their map pool to be very strong. So I'm not going to say it was fluked or their win was flawed. They totally deserved it, but certainly we have to think as of right now something is going on with SK Gaming. Obviously their boot camp with Na'Vi is not doing them, or did not do them well, and we also have a very big controversial topic as well as Coldzera. But before I go into that topic for our next story, guys, there's definitely something up. Over these last 2 days, SK Gaming faced off against Team Liquid and Renegades, and over these last 2 days they've dropped all 4 maps, 2 to Liquid and 2 to Renegades. That is more maps than they've dropped in the last 2 months, and they've done it consecutively here. Also to note, as they lost 4 maps in a row, 2 to Liquid, 2 to Renegades, back to back to back to back, that's 4 consecutive map losses. That's the first time this roster together has ever done it. Now, although we do have SHOOWTiME subbing in for Fur, we'll get into that later stories, guys. Apparently stuff coming out of that about Coldzera and SHOOWTiME kind of butting heads there. But with this former Luminosity Gaming roster, excluding Fur, of course, they have never lost 4 4 consecutive maps until these last 2 days. So something is obviously up. I stick to my word. Renegades is still, I think they're currently 3-6 right now in ESL Pro League. Definitely a team that is struggling. I stick to my word there, but something is definitely up with SK Gaming, and more on the Coldzera topic right now. So obviously, even worse than how these guys, lost those games yesterday was how they handle their losses. Now, let's please remember, this is SK Gaming, a team who really does not lose often enough to know how to handle themselves. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt right here, is the fact that also they are bilingual. They're speaking different languages, so sometimes these things they say, it can be taken out of context when put into the American situation, or the English situation over here in America, how we interpret the words that Coldzera used in some of his tweets. Now, if any of you guys have heard about Coldzera's reaction to people who were torching him on Twitter, it led him to delete his Twitter eventually. So if you guys have actually screenshots of the tweets, here are some of them on the screen right now of what Coldzera said to some of the people reacting to him and their terrible gameplay. Now, obviously in the heat of the moment, when you're first losing to a team you never lost for, and you've been struggling over the past 2 days, obviously in the heat of the moment, some things can be said, and according to his Facebook post, he has only temporarily taken down his Twitter because of these things. So we had many people who caught, of course, the whole CSGO community caught screenshots of what Coldzera said in reaction, including things on the screen. I'm not even going to repeat them out loud. Now, obviously, again, I'm not going to try and cause drama here, but how he reacted was wrong, but it also can be taken out of context. A little bit of a hothead, but still, people are always making mistakes. I think the real issue here is SK Gaming being a team who needs to learn how to react when they lose against teams like Renegade. It really shows me an issue of these guys know how to win. It's very, very easy to be gracious when you win tournaments, or you win majors, or you win individual games, but it's very hard. It takes a true team to be gracious when you lose. And I think the first showmanship of this was the fact that a #1 team in the world on one of their stronger maps, obviously their map pool being the strongest in the game right now, is how they somehow lost 16-0 against a team like Renegades. Against, no offense to Renegades, the Australian roster over there, but still, a #1 team in the world like SK Gaming should never be dropping 16-0 to even a top team in the league. No matter what, it's Na'Vi, G2, Envy, Cloud9, whoever it may be, they should never be dropping 16-0. I think that really shows that their personalities, they don't know how to lose. I think once it probably got to around 9 or 10 rounds down, these guys didn't care anymore, and that's the type of showmanship as a tournament organizer that you really look at. Now, obviously, them being the #1 team in the world, you're not going to say, let's not invite SK Gaming. Of course, they can play the repercussions for this. If it was a little team though, let's take a Penta or Epsilon, whoever it may be, if it's a little team doing this where they go down 8 or 9 rounds and they decide to lose, let's just fool around, let's just lose 16-0, I guarantee you they wouldn't be receiving invites from near as many tournaments. So SK Gaming, the real problem I have here is not with Coldzera, obviously overreacted in the heat of the moment. The main problem I have is with the team in general. Now with Coldzera and SHOOWTiME, we don't have anything confirmed as of right now, but obviously some of his tweets did seem to be directed at SHOOWTiME and how he has no basic knowledge of the CSGO game. Fur also has tweeted out, guys, that he was giving operations, many of you guys know, on his perforated eardrum as well as his nasal issues. He had his first surgery done, so Fur should be back in time for ESL New York, but until then, this team is maybe going to continue to struggle with SHOOWTiME as their 5th man, or maybe they'll announce a new 5th man sub in, but for right now, a big issue with SK Gaming. I'm sorry if I ran a lot of that stuff off to you. Feel free to replay that, guys. I feel like I made some really crucial points. So very worried right now, as of right now, where SK Gaming is. Now, in other terms, as of right now as well, I'm looking at Na'Vi, who's probably thinking, wow, SK Gaming, no longer the #1 team in the world. Here's us with Simple in our new lineup. We're #1 in ESL Pro League, technically because we're undefeated. I know obviously Na'Vi is not in that top 5 in ESL Pro League only because they've only played 4 matches, but they're undefeated right now. This only looks better for Na'Vi, who boot camp with SK Gaming. They're thinking, wow, this team is cracking under pressure. We have a 5-man solid lineup. They're missing Fur. They can't cooperate with SHOOWTiME. As of right now, guys, we got to take advantage of this. So if I'm Na'Vi, I'm taking advantage of the situation, winning as many games as possible, as dominant as possible, and increasing our ranking based off HLTV. So that's what is in the news for today, guys. Next story, ESL New York. And please let me know down below, guys, in the comment section if you guys like me rambling off on stuff like that. Obviously, I was a little more informed about the situation because I had a couple hours to actually reveal some of that stuff and look at my script and actually learn more about the situation. If you guys like longer stories like that, let me know down below in the comment section below. Just like last video, put long or short in the comments down below. But next story, guys, is a big CSGO event many of you guys have heard about, ESL New York, coming up this October, who has finally released their 16 qualifying teams. 8 of those will be North American, 8 of those European, who will all be competing in their separate brackets, each for one of the 2 final spots in the tournament. And there has already been announced the 6 invite teams, who will be SK, G2, also Liquid, that 3rd invite team, who earned their invite shortly after their 2nd place major finish. As many of you guys know, with Simple. Also, many of you guys know they've fallen off since then, but they still got their invite to this event, ESL New York. The 3 teams joining them will be Virtus Pro, Na'Vi, and Fnatic, with the winners of the North American European brackets to join those and compete for the 8 teams who will be competing for the $250,000 prize pool. It's going to be very exciting. I really am excited for this tournament in general. Cloud9 in that North American qualifying bracket, a definite favorite there. But when it comes down to the European bracket, you have teams like FaZe, Envy, Mouse Sports, Godsend. To be honest, all these European teams of the 8 qualifying teams fighting for that one spot, all have a great chance to qualify. And that begins this Sunday, September 4th. And I'm very excited to see who actually wins that. So stay tuned for more information on ESL New York and who qualifies. As always, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this episode of CSGO News. I know it's a huge, long episode. That's 2 episodes back to back that have been over 10 minutes. Now, so for some important announcements for all of you guys who secretly stick around to the whole video. So first off of my huge announcements, guys, I am giving away a factory new Bowie knife fade on my Twitter. The link to that is down below. Thank you to Gitcoin, my sponsor, for providing that. I did not know until today when the owner traded over the skin to me to give away to all of you guys. It's a $220 skin. All you guys have to do is favorite the tweet down below. You don't have to retweet it. You have to just favorite the tweet and follow me and Gitcoin. That's all you have to do to enter that. Also, big announcements. I briefly mentioned a new channel in my last video, and I had no idea people would creep me enough on my Twitter to actually find my potential new channel. Now, I had a few people guess incorrectly and correctly at my new channel, so you guys are already trying to find out what my new channel will be. That new channel should be launching sometime this weekend or early next week, so stay tuned for that, guys. I cannot believe it's sometime coming soon, and I cannot wait for that. Also in the news, guys, I have a big announcement for an exposed video coming soon. Now, it's not going to be a MoTV video where I just kind of trash a YouTuber. This is a very real, very real exposed video that's going to be done on a huge CSGO YouTuber that's done a very wrong thing to many people in the community, and one of them came forth to me with some evidence. So stay tuned for that, guys. There will be an exposed video coming out sometime soon next week, so I hope to actually enlighten all of you guys on the background of all these YouTubers that, you know, do some dirty things in the background. So hope you guys all enjoy. As always, live, love, laugh a lot. I've really enjoyed YouTube, especially this past week. Making these videos has been so much fun for me, so hope you guys all enjoy. As always, live, love, laugh a lot. Remember, I like you. I'll see you guys all hopefully in a couple days in another CSGO News episode. Remember, I like you. Goodbye. By the way, I'm going to read every single YouTube comment on this video, so feel free to leave like a nice comment or a rude comment. Just know that I will be reading it. I will not be replying, but I will read them all.